Hello my friends and welcome back to Kev's Hobby Showcase. I'm of course Kevin. You may have also seen me on Tabletop Jones Productions where John and I are the Twitties playing board games. And today, well of course I'm going to be doing a, oops sorry about that, going to be doing another painting video. I'm going to be doing some battle mix for the game Battletech in the colors of the free Rasalhague Republic. What we got here is a Star Slayer, which I got this from the Mercenaries starter box. So, you know, one thing I'm curious about that is because I always match these up to factions by their mech warrior cards, and it's weird because it's for mercenaries, but they have mech warriors for the non-mercenaries. So it gets a little confusing sometimes. So, along with that, I'm going to be painting a Vindicator. It's, as you can see, it's over. This has been done back before I was doing this channel, so I will be redoing it. Cyclops, and last but not least, a Banshee. All right. So, these are basically battle mechs that I've had for a while. From other sets when the Catalyst Labs first started putting them out. And what I do is when I have something, I think I mentioned this before, when I have something associated with a particular faction or mercenary company, I'll just take some of these other mechs at random and just put together a lance. So this will be my first lance for the Rasalhague, free Rasalhague Republic, which took me a while to find the painting specs because I kept on spelling it wrong. And it's going to be a blue base coat with red trim. And then, of course, I'm going to be using gunmetal for the what would be the cockpit window and the weapons. And then, of course, well, this one definitely needs touching up on the base. So anyway, so first things first. Well, first I got to clean up the bases on those three mechs, and then I'm going to be priming everything. All right, so stay tuned, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and the primer on those battle mechs have dried, and I'm going to get started on the base coat of blue. All right, so let's get to it. Oh, let's get these guys back a bit. All right. Okay. All right. Oh. So, it's been a busy day today. So, I'm sure many of you know or have at least heard me talk about my other YouTube channel, Tabletop Jones Productions, or the one I do with my friend John. We were doing a run-through today of the new game that we're going to be playing. I say new game, but it's actually a game that we played before. Actually, it's the game we started the channel with. And it's called City of the Great Machine. So we're going to be meeting up again tomorrow to record ourselves playing it. And, should be a good one. I remember when we first started that, we didn't know that we had to verify the account with YouTube. We didn't know what the verification process was. And in order to be able to post videos longer than 15 minutes. So, yeah, that was fun. So that first time we played that game, we were posting videos of just about 15 minutes, and we wound up having to do 9 of them. We had to break it up into 9 videos. Yeah, so now we, of course, know better. All right. Okay. Let's move on to this one. So, yeah, we're going to be, so we do have the rest of the next scenario of the Battletech game coming out. And the way things worked out in the game, it is the last scenario for a little mini campaign. It only went 2. That's okay, because it allows us to move on to other games. Okay. Oh. And as you can see with the mech I'm holding right now, just from the base, this is one of the early ones that Catalyst Lab put out. This is before they started making the models better. But, you know, just because the other ones look better and are probably posed better on the bases, doesn't mean I'm not going to use all of these older ones. Definitely going to use them. All right. And I do have quite a bit of them. That, you know, it's like I was saying, you know, if I have something from a specific faction, I will, you know, randomly choose like a, you know, from the many of them that I have. Yeah, and of course a whole bunch of them I had already painted, and I will definitely repaint them, because when I did paint them before, I wasn't really paying attention to what the factions were and what the color schemes of the said factions were. I was just painting them in any way I saw fit. And so now it's like I'm redoing them all. I'm redoing them all to go coincide with existing factions and mercenary companies, or clans if it's a clan mech. Okay. And so I've been seeing some comments on these other painting videos, and I think one was commenting, oops, sorry, was commenting on the paint that I'm using, saying it's like I should switch to a certain paint type because this is like it gels up or something and it ruins my technique. And I do appreciate the comment. I very much appreciate it. I've tried other brands of paint, and a lot of them actually, it's like I tried Valero, I think it's pronounced, and a lot of their paints are very watery, and I would be painting it on, and it would just, you know, look like I was painting like a thin layer of water on it, and it's like, you know, I just didn't like the way it was coming out. This particular brand of paint that I've been using, I feel has covered the minis the best. I mean, I'm sure that there are other good brands out there, and maybe one day I will try some of them. But I also have to go, because I get everything from my local hobby store when it comes to paints, and, well, most of the time when it comes to paints and primer. So I generally go by what they have, and this brand is, in my opinion, the best one that they got. All right. I think I'm done with the with this base coat. Let me just clean the brush. Yeah, that's another thing. One of these days I'm going to have to invest in a better means to clean the brushes, and maybe even better brushes. Alright, so. Alright, yeah, that's good. Alright, so Base coat is done. You know, well, it's applied, and it's gonna let this dry. And when I come back, I'm gonna do. There is a little bit of details. There's like just like red trim in certain areas, so I'll try to figure out on each battle mech where I'm gonna put the red. It's not a lot, just like a little bit. And then of course there's the gunmetal for the for the weapons and for the cockpit window, and then of course, excuse me, black to touch up any parts of the base that actually need it. All right, so I realized, and I said I was definitely going to need it. Yeah, I use black primer, so I may not I may not need it in a bunch of areas, but that's okay. All right, so anyway, so yeah, so I'm going to let this dry. Stay tuned. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and that primer is now dry. No, I'm sorry, not the primer. The base coat is now dry, and so now we're going to get started with some details. All right, so let's get to it. Primer. Okay. All right, so let's take out the red first. All right. Now let's see, where could we make it look good with some red? Oops, excuse me. All right. Okay. A little bit here, a little bit there. All right. Okay. So keep it to one side. Nah, let's get a little bit on the other side. Yeah, there we go. All right. Okay. Yeah, let's get this red paint in. All right. So. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot more of a regular posting schedule on the Tabletop Jones channel, as well as me keeping up my posting schedule here on the showcase. Yeah, I'm basically going to be making as much of an effort as I can to keep both channels on a regular schedule, because I want these channels to grow as much as possible. Okay. Okay. You know what? Let's get the other shoulder joint. All right. Okay. Okay. Let's see how long it takes before I start using this faction on the Tabletop Jones site, channel. And like I said, I think I also said it there on that channel. Battletech is a game that we're gonna frequently go back to, because there's just so much that you can do with it. But I will admit that after we do the game that we're playing now, City of the Great Machine, we are probably going to try and do the Aliens game that I have. If any of you want to, dig back into my video history, you'll see that I have videos where I'm painting, the mercenaries and, of course, the civilians, which, civilians, I mean Ripley, Carter Burke, and Newt. Like I said, all the Marines, and then in another series I did the Aliens. Alright. 2 colors down, 2 more to go. Let's take out the gunmetal. Alright. Okay. And the Star Slayer has 2 nice big guns right up here. Gonna get them both. Anyway, as I was saying, so yeah, like I said, if you dig back into my videos, you'll find that I painted both the Marines and the Aliens. So when John and I play, it'll be a lot of painted minis. Alright, oops. Got a little bit. Let me just see if I can dab that up. And not really. Alright, I don't see anything. Well, that might be just an antenna, but I'm going to paint it gunmetal anyway. Alright, so let's go move on to this one. So yeah. So that's the game that we're most likely going to do next. So I had boarded up today, and John seemed to be okay with it. Alright. Not a whole heck of a lot on the Cyclops there that looks like a weapon, so let's move on to the Vindicator. And so, like I was saying with the Aliens game, we are going to take it one, because they have like a campaign where it can go, I forget how many missions until, basically you're playing the entire Aliens movie. Okay. All right. Yeah. And maybe, because usually what we like to do on that channel is, like, I'll bring out a game, John brings out a game, and we'll go back and forth like that. So after the Aliens game, whatever John decides to bring out, we'll play that. And then maybe I'll take out the Battletech game again, and we'll go with another one maybe I'll try to think of a whole new scenario for it, or campaign or something. Maybe I'll, whoops, let's see, do we need this? Actually, I think we do. Yep. Okay. So yeah, you know, it's going to be hopefully a lot going on for the rest of this year. Yeah, and of course, like with all people who are on this platform, well, if you're watching this on YouTube, all people, you know, as with all people who are on this platform, the goal is to reach monetization so you can spend your days making your videos. And I would love for that to happen for both this channel and the Tabletop Jones channel. Alright, that seems to be it for the details. Alright, so gonna let that dry, and when I, you know, before I come back, I'll put all the labels on, and when I come back, it's going to be basing, the wash, and then it's all finished. All right, so stay tuned, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and all that paint is dried, and the labels are on, and it's time to finish these pieces up. All right, got the base ready to go, and the wash. So let's get to it. All right, and as you can see, I brought out the snow again. Because why not? Alright, so oh, I should have cleaned it. I should have cleared the end of this already, but I did not. So I'm doing it now. Okay. Alright. Little glob there, little glob there. Okay. Alright, so gonna get this nice and finished. Okay. Okay, so when I do get to the when I do get to the wash on this, it may not show up as much as if it were painted like a lighter color, but it should still show up a little bit, which is why I'm still going to do it. But first things first, I always get the base done first. Okay. Okay. So, in the current videos on Tabletop Jones Productions that, you know, doing the Battletech scenario, I actually put together a cityscape, like, you know, just like a, what would be like a couple of blocks, and have these buildings that are basically, you know, fold out, you know, cardboard. But, you know, it's actually from Catalyst Labs, so it's not, you know, it looks pretty good. And it came, a lot of it came with the Alpha Strike starter box. And then I was able to get, there was like I found on Amazon, you know, a little packet with Alpha Strike stuff in it. I remember, you know, I had bought it, and I just didn't realize that, you know, in that package was more of the fold-out buildings, which I basically used all of them to make that cityscape. Alrighty, that's the last one for the base. Get this in here. Alright. Okay. Ooh, that could have been very, very bad. Alright, so we're done with this stuff, and now the wash. Okay. Sometimes to shift the pieces in my hand gets a little awkward. Alright, so whoops, I think I just put my finger in a big glob of glue. Yay for that, right? Okay. Let me just wipe my finger there. Yeah, I mean, initially with the base, with the glue, it's going to be soft because, you know, just applied it, but after a while it does harden. It comes like a nice shell. Alright, so yeah, on these pieces, especially the older ones, the wash isn't going to show up as much, but I put the majority of it on the Star Slayer since that's from, you know, the newer types of models. Alright, so here we go. Pretty much done. Let's get them ready to view. Alright, so here we go. A nice, whoops, a nice lance of mechs painted in the colors of the free Rasalhague Republic. Okay, well, that's all I got for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and share as much as possible. Also, please go to Tabletop Jones Productions and do the same there. Like, subscribe, and share. We're trying to reach as many people as possible. On this channel, I am at 65 subscribers. I'd like to make it to 75. On Tabletop Jones, we're at 32, and we'd like to make it to 50 so we can live stream games. You know, we don't know how, but we want to learn. And but we can't do it until we have 50 subscribers. So also, if you want to talk directly about hobbies, you know, this one or others that you may want to talk about, please join my Discord. The link will be in the description. And also, please check out my Patreon if you're not already watching this on Patreon now. I will be having a lot of these videos that I do on YouTube up as free content, but I do have already some exclusive content, and I will be coming up with more exclusive content in the future. So, you know, just trying to, you know, broaden out, you know, basically broaden my audience, reach out and reach as many people as possible. And, you know, so just, you know, and, you know, right now a YouTube subscription is the best way to support the channel. So, you know, please do that. And, of course, the Discord is free to join. So, you know, so we can talk more directly there if you wish. All right, so again, thank you very much. You have a great day. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you again.